everyone, and welcome to today's event. My name is Adele, and I'm delighted to be introducing this event on behalf of the Equilibrium Network. Before we begin, I'd like to inform everyone that this session is being recorded and will be shared with a wider audience. You can find this recording, along with previous event recordings, on EQN's website. So EQN's core aim is to enable women to have equal influence in the design and delivery of the built environment. It is an international, multidisciplinary network of women and men united by a shared passion for gender equality in shaping our cities. Our network is made up of individuals from a diverse fields such as architecture, engineering, landscape design, policymaking, and many more, working across public, private, and NGO sectors as well as academia. So we're one of the core members of the consortium of the DivAirCity project, and DivAirCity addresses the equation of social inequality, health conditions, and air pollutions in cities. The project is carried out by a consortium of 24 organisations in total, piloting solutions across 5 EU cities. Today's event is part of a series of international events for the DivAirCity project and is being led by one of those pilot cities, Potsdam, in Germany. We've already held events led by Aarhus, Orvieto, and Castellón, and following today's session, Bucharest will lead the final event at the end of April. We hope this series inspires a collective movement towards creating more inclusive and sustainable cities. On to today's event. Now, we have a fantastic panel lined up for you, including representatives from Potsdam and Chennai in India. They'll be sharing real-world case studies with practical tools that you can apply to your own projects. As we move through the presentations, please feel free to post your questions using the Q&A function. We'll have a Q&A session after the case study presentations to address as many of your questions as possible. I'll now hand over to fellow consortium member Simon Knop-Jacobsen, who will introduce the speakers as well as facilitating the Q&A. Over to you, Simon.
Thank you very much, Adele, also for the great collaboration over the past weeks to organize this event. My name is Simon Knop-Jacobsen, and I'm a cultural manager for many different cultural and political projects at a regional to international level, and also as a board member of the Localize e.V. I'm organizing and curating the Potsdam-based Festival for Urban Space, Art and Culture. I'm also representing the festival landscape in Brandenburg through the festival working group that is organized by Impulse Brandenburg. And since the last October in 2024, I'm leading the Potsdam consortium of the DivAirCity project, representing the SPE Foundation. But enough about me. I would like to introduce you the first of our speakers today. That's Nadine Kuhler von Bergmann. And Nadine is an expert in digital urban development, climate mitigation, adaptation in cities, and circular city strategies. She's the founder and managing director of Creative Climate Cities, a consultancy that supports urban transitions through digital tools and knowledge transfer. Nadine also advises municipalities, ministries, and associations on sustainable urban development. She was appointed as visiting professor for smart urbanism and digital strategies at the University of Applied Science in Stuttgart and is now a lecturer for smart city manager with focus on urban digital twin infrastructure. Thank you so much for participating, and over to your presentation, Nadine.
Thank you so much to Simon, and thank you to Adele. It's a great pleasure to have the opportunity today to present what I would already call kind of a wrap up of what we've done together, especially in the last couple of years. And I've named the presentation Digital Cities Shaping Smart Cities for Everyone. And I would say, apart from all the digital and smart vocabulary, I think that everyone is really what should be at the heart of this presentation and of what we're trying to be doing here in this European project together. Next, please. The company Creative Climate Cities started off actually helping utilities companies to understand what's going on in their own, basically in their own departments. And what we have done since day one is really connecting people, technology, and urban spaces. So it's something that seems a very natural process from my side. I'm an architect by training, but have mainly worked in urban design and urban planning projects. But I would say nowadays it's again more important to not think these fields separately, but to actually make them intertwine and try and find the right vocabulary actually to have them all in one room and solve all the challenges that are out there. Next, please. So we are in many of our projects, we're actually facilitators and mediators. That's why we like the EU projects very much, because that is always an opportunity to try out new methodologies. What you see here, we literally do gamification approaches as well as co-creation sessions, who are usually aiming at trying to find integrated and intersectoral solution to actually generate synergies and also to try and solve things that seem unsolvable with many expertise from many disciplines. Next, please. Nowadays, people love to put these things into containers. So we chose these 3 containers to be put into. One is definitely digital cities. So we work a lot in the smart cities field. I'm going to talk about this just now. Something we are busy building up is around circular cities. And believe it or not, but even German cities think this is a great thing, but don't have the money for it yet, which is something to work on in the first place. And last but not least, the inclusive city design part is what I would say is the least finance, although this is probably the one that would be the most important one in terms of cohesion in the future. And we're trying to combine all of this. Please, next. Mostly in German cities at the moment, we are actually consulting to about 73 German cities at the moment and putting them into a matchmaking environment where one is learning something that the other one can use and vice versa. And that's a project I'm going to talk about just now after the DivAirCity project. Next, please. What is very special in this EU project is not just that cities in this EU project are sharing actually challenges. I think what's very special for me personally in this EU project is that every city has a very different environment to start off with very similar challenges. We are not tired to express or to kind of highlight the fact that we probably in Potsdam had the hardest start because the municipality itself at the beginning, Frank, I'm looking at you now, at the very beginning actually refused, it's a different game now after 4 years, refused to work with us on this because of various reasons, one also being administrative reasons, but the other one also of being overwhelmed by EU projects and processes. So that's something that I totally admire with all the other cities who didn't shy away to take this on. Next, please. The challenge in Brandenburg, the federal state Brandenburg, which is just around Berlin, is in climate change ways is obviously the increasing heat, but also extreme weather events like rains, etc. So nature-based solution, which is obviously at the heart of our solution portfolio, would be something to look into, but the measures are easy to express and the implementation is obviously the one that is holding us back. Please, next. There's other challenges in the district that we chose to work with. You see them all in this one slide. I'm just going to pick out a few. One is definitely an aging building environment. So it's a kind of post-war housing estate, very dense, actually very, I would say climate friendly in terms of energy usage, etc. But again, it's an aging infrastructure. There's a lot of traffic, but there's also a lot of hidden, I would say, gems and hidden potentials, like you see on the very low right picture here, there is a lot of green potential. It's just not, I would say, in the right place and not where the community might make use of it. So what we actually took as our starting point was the underutilized green spaces that are literally the courtyards in between this housing. Next, please. And the challenge seems clear. There's heat stress, there's also pollution, but there's also a lack of social usage. And that's something that has to do with managerial, actually, and operational systems in place. And as you maybe also can, if you think of your own environment, think of these very dry, very cut down meadows that we know from European cities, easy maintenance, but actually totally useless for bringing biodiversity factors or an environment that is cooling or even comfortable for people in summer. Next, please. So we came up with a concept that would actually rely on various layers of solution, like right at the beginning when I said we try and connect communities as well as technologies and spaces. This is exactly the expression of it. So we imagined what we called an green urban hub, which was actually composed of various elements. One is obviously very communal elements like urban farming, but also projects run by children and other already existing communities. So we did a lot of mapping first of stakeholders that were there, and that's always the most amazing part. They are there, they usually just don't speak with each other. That was one of our also, I would say, main achievements, to connect housing associations with these initiatives. But we also use these challenges to try and introduce sensors, be it like data collection sensors that are attached to the human body, but also sensors that are used within the field. That's something that's obviously across the whole DivAirCity project. And we try to think of a solution that will combine all of these, like operational matters around greenkeeping, but also awareness raising as well as citizen science. Next, please. So this, what we call the living lab, then started to flower in its true meaning. We actually started off also trying to convince people to actually treat this space differently, had quite interesting experiences also with community members there. We wouldn't say that this is something that continues by itself. We also learned, actually, I think one of the biggest learnings was that always needs someone who actually looks after these spaces, who feels responsible, and who also has to have a, like, I would say, a role that is kind of also being financed maybe through other means. It won't work just for hobby reasons or personal commitment. Next, please. And what we did and where we feel we also left the most impact was actually we tried and created a so-called digital city walk, and we used digital scrollytelling to connect the digital and the analog space. So something that we saw as an awareness raising activity was a scrolly we developed that could be downloaded as part of a walk, of a city walk, and you could actually learn a lot about what are the data that's being collected. You could learn about what are the challenges, but also what are the threats and what are measures that could be helpful to mitigate. And it was obviously also very playful for some citizens to use this and try out this kind of layer of information through their own phones. Next, please. That's just as a close-up how it basically worked. So you could navigate through this district, and you could basically also enter your own data and your own basically what you felt in the environment and what you had to add from your own perspective and experience. Next, please. So as mentioned before, the stakeholder matchmaking was probably the biggest inclusive act we did. There were a lot of projects going on, happening alongside of each other, so not being connected, being projects around data collection, like Frank will introduce now, also what the city of Potsdam is actually doing. There were a lot of cultural initiatives already, a lot of educational initiatives. There were a lot of stakeholders also around collecting data. And what we noticed is that the EU project actually helped to bind them all together and to make this whole story complete, and to lift a lot of synergies that weren't there right at the beginning, especially through the co-creation workshops we initiated. Next, please. So these are also some of the snapshots of these interactions and interactive formats we used. This was down to, as I said before, gamification approaches, trying to engage people with fun activities, but it was also, like you see here, maybe if you come very close to your screen, you see there's also people literally physically mowing this lawn and connecting to the space in a different way, as well as also some of these walks and workshops with schools that we did. Please, next. Yeah, so this was something that we did ourselves, I would say, on the ground, where we are project implementers in that role. But what the other role that I mentioned also before is that we are, I would say, matchmakers and knowledge transfer designers in this other bigger project and program in Germany, which is about 73 pilot projects around smart cities. And they're doing what we're doing in a very small scale, and what we did in a very small scale in the Potsdam district. Please, next. We are trying to collect as valuable knowledge in various forms, and we are organizing a lot of formats and workshops, also development cooperation within these cities, to try and exchange their knowledge that they're gathering in their pilot projects. Frank will talk about this just now, and he will also talk about this in more detail, as he's on that part of the world more involved. But a lot of these cities are dealing with the same challenges like climate mitigation, and are using IoT data, so Internet of Things data that comes from sensors, and are using these so-called urban digital twins now to try and visualize this data, so it can serve actually for the purpose of taking decisions together and of deciding about the future together, which is obviously something that we are a big fan of. Next, please. So I'll bring just shortly, I hope I have the time, Adele. Do I still have 2 minutes to just run through these 3 examples? Thank you so much. So here again, there's not just one sensor, but the city of Gera is actually using various sensors, and they collected in this so-called cockpit, smart city cockpit, and are very much aware of their environmental conditions, and they can act also in terms of if there is, for instance, heat stress or water level rising through one tool here, and are actually connecting various expertises together and try and collect an overall image of the city itself. Next, please. This is another example from the city of Leipzig, who are, the city of Halle, who are very much, the front runners also of building this city and building development project around industrial areas. So they developed a tool together with some of their sister departments that helps actually to take planning decisions and to be used in architecture competitions, etc. And that's something that seems so simple, because you would think, well, isn't that what architects do in any case? But the biggest challenge here, again, is also connect data from various departments and bring this into one model and visualize it in a way and simulated maybe then also the type of conditions of the future, so you can take decisions upon this type of applications. Next, please. Last but not least is an example from the city of Bamberg, which works, they're working a lot with artificial intelligence application. This is for monitoring trees and trees conditions, if they're about to die, or what conditions they're in. And they actually trained this with humans, obviously, who know their thing, and who are basically then will with this tool, they will save a lot of time in the future to be aware of where these trees need to be treated or watered in a better way, or need to be exchanged. Next, please. So what I would like to summarize from all these examples, the ones that we have experienced on the ground, but also the ones that we are monitoring and trying to to publish and to communicate further and to promote, that we believe that all this data and all the digital tools that are being developed are always a very good decision-making foundation. And what I have experienced is that even the development of these tools sometimes is already an added value, not even the final product, which is quite interesting because new people start speaking to each other. The second is that we are noticing that these collaboration processes now are something that are not debated anymore, but they just happen because we need to have different workflows and different collaboration to actually create these urban data platforms or integrated apps or tools. And last but not least, we see rising understanding of, I would say, like the complex situation of cities. And that's something I think we could really use for better decision taking for healthy and climate friendly urban futures. And with this, I want to end. Thank you so much. And handing over. Oh no, one last thing, because I thought, Pascal, you talking after me. Obviously, one thing that we see we are struggling a lot is the private data security, which is obviously a very high value in Germany. So I just wanted to obviously point out here that some things take much longer because there's such a great, I would say, legal situation. But on the other hand, who knows what India is doing? And I would be very much looking forward to listening to Pascal just now. But I think Frank is first. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very, very much, Nadine, for your presentation. And we're going to also be able to talk about the different situations in India and Germany in our Q&A afterwards. It's also like a reminder for everyone that is watching that if you have questions, you can type it down in the Q&A and we will be able to discuss it later on. But for now, I would like to introduce Frank Hübner. Frank studied astrophysics at University of Potsdam. He did not finish his doctoral thesis, but instead started his own business in the IT sector. Through his work in social education projects with children and young people, he is involved and networked in the city. He's currently working at the Innovation Office of Digital Society and Technology in the Potsdam City Administration, focusing on the Smart City project. He oversees projects related to data management, network infrastructure, and emergency communication systems. Thank you so much for your participation, Frank, and over to you.
You're still
Frank.
muted, Frank.
IT people and okay. Hello, welcome to everyone. My last English talk is 30 years ago in astrophysics study, so please, I try my best. Yes, digital tools shaping smart cities for everyone. I'm the technical nerd in the team, I say, in administration, and I'm there since 2 years, and I will try focus on my work, what I've done in the last 2 years, and will do in the next 2 years or my job will be extended. I don't know. So the next, please. Yeah, what is a smart city? Ask 5 per people and you will get 8 answers. everything that's something with digital and networks and so on is everything is smart. Smart city is a place where traditional network and service are made more efficient with the use of digital solutions for the benefit of its inhabitants and business. That's the definition from the European Commission. And on the right, you see some fields where you can say this makes a city smart, from energy, infrastructure, mobility, city development, security, and so on. And Potsdam tried to get not everything, but a lot of these things to make Potsdam a smart city. The next, please. Potsdam Smart City is part of a bigger process. It's just a part. We call it Potsdam Smart Potsdam. That's smart city is because it is one of these 73 funded model project cities. You've heard before by Nadine. Potsdam get the money from the Ministry of Housing, Urban Development and Building. And so that's why we call this project Smart City, because it is founded by this project Smart City. We are on a long way to be a smart city. Next, please. And then Potsdam had in Potsdam two phases. The first is phase A. We wrote a strategy. Everything in Germany starts with a lot of paper, and we wrote down the strategy, and we started the first part-time projects. You see on the right, we had the Potsdam Lab. That's a real place where we can meet with citizens, with administration, with business keepers, and so on. We have a real place where we can meet in the real world and not only in digital spaces. The next one is the Passmo. That's a tool that shows the development in the new area of Potsdam at Krampnitz. That's an old place where with Kaserne and barracks, and we will try to make it as a new city, a part of a city. And this is a tool to show the way we are going. And the last one, that's the part where I am in. That's the infrastructure, LoRaWAN, Long Range Wide Area Network. That's a tool, a technique for wireless communication over high distances with low energy and for small data. That's not for video transport or audio. That's just for sensors. And we built a network in Potsdam. As I've seen, in the talk of Nadine, DivAirCity uses this network. So I'm proud that it works. Next, please. Yeah, that's the focus in. That's my part. The cluster we call Urban Networks Infrastructure and Data Platform. That's the digital tools that will shape the smart city. We will provide an infrastructure for sensors in the data-driven city. And how do we do this? We have two parts. The LoRaWAN is a network that's a special one because you have gateways that collect the data and put it on the server. It's an internal network just for the administration, but it's also a free network for everyone. It's a so-called TTN, the Things Network. Maybe one or other has heard of it. And that's useful and everyone can use it. And it's not only for a company, it's for everyone. Then we have two ideas in this area. We don't want to take big money and give it to big companies. We want to include the citizens. And so we will build a free citywide wireless LAN in cooperation with Freifunk. That's a community of engaged people who who built a free network, wireless network. We don't want to give it to Telecom or any other big company. We want to do it with our people here. And is also the resilient emergency communication. We had contact to radio amateurs, and they will help us to make a communication network that even works in a blackout. And Starlink is not it's not an option. We will make it with all the power of the people here in the city. Next one. Yeah, all these are visions, but now the visions will go concrete. We have digital tools for citizens that support citizen science. That's the way I came to this topic of smart city. I was looking for a LoRaWAN network because I had a citizen science idea that's monitoring water quality. And after I made I digged into the topic, I found that Potsdam has a smart city program, and so I'm now at the job. These gateways, as I said, are for internal municipal network and for everyone. Since February, these urban data platform, that's a term we choose. We don't say it's a digital twin because it's not everything. It's not a twin of city. It's just a part. It's a big container for data for everyone, where everyone can go give data in and get it out. So it's a central interchange point for data from and for the city. We have a problem. I don't know if it will be topic today. We have a great concern about data protection, yeah, and the value of data collected by citizens. It's not only a concern, it's a great fear that everyone gets some sensor value and the city says, you have to stop, it's too hot, don't work anymore, and the sensor is broken because it's a sensor from a citizen and not from a city. That's a great fear in administration, and we have to talk with them. That's citizen involvement. It's not bad. That's an opportunity to get more data, to get higher value data, and that's a hard way to bring this in administration. That data is not only good when it's collected by a city, but by administration. But it is good when it's come from everywhere. Yeah, and the last one. And what are our goals for this year? You see, I'm the nerd in the team. I don't like the word hackathon. Hackathon is a modern word for workshop. And hackathon, in my meaning, is something to solder, building a PCB and resistor and a capacitor to bring it together, make a sensor. And so we will do this. We will focus on bike mobility because one part of our smart city project is the change of mobility. We will improve the city for bike riding. You see, great cities like Paris is one or more steps ahead. So we will try to find out what can we do in Potsdam to make it more comfortable for people not using a car. Sensors of everything from noise detection, carbon dioxide, dust measuring in the city. Everything we will not only buy, we will understand how it works. And so we want to bring the people together and build these sensors. That's our idea. We will use the urban data platform for combining the data, finding new use cases, new business cases, and we want to empower the people. And also we will include the mega scene. Potsdam has a great mega scene. It's high density of scientists, and we want to use all these ideas, these power. Yeah, and now I see I have lost my contact slide, so I will finish it. That's an idea that's Open Sense Map. That's a way I came into the smart city project. You have the sensors, you can buy this, you can build your own sensors, and it's a map where you can find all these places where people have sensors, and we will get more gateways, we'll get more sensors, we will get a central port for data input, and we will harvest existing projects, because you often have portals for a specific topic. So you have a mobility portal, you have a climate portal, you have one for touristic information. But if you have one, say, everything in Potsdam, that's a big deal, because there is no department that's for everything. There are only departments for topics. That's a hard way. That's hard in administration. I had to struggle with. It's no one wants to see the whole. That's I think Nadine can she can understand this. You have special topics, and so we have a urban data platform, and maybe this will be the central portal for data of all kind in Potsdam. Yeah. Contact data, I will hinterher liefern. I will give it. Okay. Thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, Frank. And considering that you've not been speaking English for 30 years, it was going very, very great. So big props for that. Speaking about scientists, I would like to introduce the next speaker for today, and this is Dr. Bhaskar, the head of data science at the Madras Diabetes Research Foundation in India, specializes in artificial intelligence and machine learning for precision diabetes treatment, clinical data analysis, and biomarker discovery. As a co-inventor of a diabetes precision care app in India, he integrates biomedical data science with electronic medical records to deliver targeted interventions, improving patient outcomes, and he has led numerous research and development initiatives with 27 publications on genomics and T-cell exhaustion in cancer therapy. So we are very, very pleased to have you here for this panel, Dr. Bhaskar. And also from a Potsdam perspective, I think we're very, very interested in how your work is looking like. So stage is yours.
Thank you, Simon, for a wonderful introduction, and thank you, speakers. You set a very good context for, in terms of the smart city. I'd like to bring a different perspective on health. So today, as part of the topic, I'm going to talk about how the AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning driven healthcare that transforms the precision diabetes care in India. So I represent two organizations here. One is Madras Diabetes Research Foundation. It's a complete research organization, and also we have a attached hospital. There's a private hospital network called Dr. Morgan's Diabetes Specialty Center in India. So you can see the right side of my slide is we can see that India is a very diverse country in terms of culture, in terms of its value, heritage, language. Everything is more diverse. But although India has not just been known for diverse and a highly populated country, India is also very popular nowadays for highest number of diabetes patients. If you can see, if you refer to my slide, maybe I can use the pointer. If you refer to my slide,
I'm not sure if you, sorry, Bhaskar, I'm not sure if you've shared your screen. I can't see your slides currently. I can still see your introduction slide.
I can see them. So
oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what setting I'm in then. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I can.
As long as you can, that's fine.
All right.
Sorry.
Right, no problem. So if you could refer to my slide where I can show the map of India, where you can see the very densely populated with the diabetes in most of the cities that are highlighted with red color, which is the South India is much more red, and most of the southern part of India, and then some of the extent of north. But this slide eventually explains about how the burden of diabetes and the related complication or spread in India. And this bar chart just explains about what the prevalence of in the overall population, how much prevalence of diabetes and how much prevalence of prediabetes and hypertension, obesity, and hypercholesteremia. So although these can be, kind of technical words, but what I would like to refer here is these are the kind of disease burden that represent the non-communicable diseases. So all these diseases that comes under category of non-communicable diseases, which is highly spread in India. And if you can refer to my slide at the right side, the size of population that are affected with these diseases like diabetes, which is about 101 million population, and highest the burden of in India is particularly obesity, which is growing in modernized cities and development in some technology, use of more mobile phones, and then sitting in front of computer for a longer time. So these major drivers for the increase in number of obesity cases in India. So this is a very primary reason that why we are actually doing a digital transformation in Indian healthcare system. So the quite challenges that we see now in India is like, although we see the diabetes burden is quite high in India, but the way to treatment is pretty challenging, because all the diabetes is not same. Likewise, all the treatment that given to diabetes patients may not fit for everyone. It needs to be very tailor-made and and very customized, because one size does not fit all patients. And then there are also lack of digital tools to support the early intervention, because whenever a diabetes patient being identified, it's always better to identify at early stage, so that we can also prevent them to move towards a much more complications as they progress in diabetes. So there are a lack of digital tools to support their early intervention to be given to them, and also high treatment cost per person, which is nowadays the health the treatment cost per person is quite higher than what they earn from the monthly salary. So these are some of the challenges. But the city that I represent, or a state I represent, is Tamil Nadu, which was the very southern part of India, where the slides just you can see the population density are mostly towards the city side, rural side. It's urban side, and so some part of Tamil Nadu, there's the south side of Tamil Nadu, and then you can see like Chennai is highly populated, where I come from. There are also fewer cities, and nowadays even these are smaller cities. Even then, the densely populated smaller cities are also coming up with a lot of disease burden. And then the reason could be for the disease burden, cities like Chennai and other cities in Tamil Nadu could be nowadays the rising of temperature scientifically that impacts the metabolism rate, which eventually cause them to become more insulin deficiency and also cause hyperglycemia, and also lifestyle changes that are less physical activity, that are less infrastructure for them to do a physical activity, and also makes diets from food insecurity also drive some of the risk factors, obesity and diabetes, and also agriculture and nutrition, because nowadays urbanization is very progressing in a high rate, because most of the rural are becoming now urban, and there is a less rate of agriculture production in India. So this makes a crop failures that leads to lack of good nutrients to the population. And last but not least, the stress factors, one that could also cause the elevated stress level that could increase the cortisol, which eventually can worsen the even insulin resistance to the population. So these are some of the context in general. But what we specifically focus in India is, like as I said, I represent one of the largest hospital network in India called Dr. Morgan's Diabetes Specialty Center. It's a private health center that offers precision care to the patients with the use of artificial intelligence and enabling the data-driven findings directly into clinical practice. So where the network hospital spread across around 8 states in India, that covers 32 cities and 50 branches. So most of the branches that we spread across over the southern part of India, where you could see a large density of diabetes population where they have. So at present, at Dr. Morgan's, we have around 665,000 population patient electronic medical records being stored onto a secure cloud system. With that data universe, we were able to do a lot of AI based stuffs, where my primary goal from my department when leading a data science, where I want to enable some artificial intelligence to these patient data and help to offer robust precision care to patients who are suffering with diabetes. So what I do generally, we have a large pool of diabetes data that come from diverse sources. That could be a clinical sample examination, or that could be genomic sample, or that could be a wearable data, sensor data. It could be it could be in a smartwatch that they wear every day in day out, that measures the footsteps, that also measure the continuous glucose monitoring of the daily the intake of glucose. So every data that already being collected into the digital database, and apply AI/ML models to bring the more digital diagnosis insights to patients, so that it can improve the standard of care to patients much significantly higher than before. And what we identified is, as I said, in India, diabetes itself, it's a very diverse disease. It's not just one disease within it. So with the use of AI/ML, what we have done is we have subtyped the diabetes into 4 different subtypes, 4 different groups. What what we achieved is now, as a doctor, as a clinician, they have a advantage of treating a patient very specifically based on the subtypes. For example, if a patient is diagnosed as SID, severe insulin deficient diabetes, he was exactly known for for who's having a low BMI and his waist circumference is very low. So accordingly, the doctor can start his treatment plan. Just imagine, without the subtypes, just before inventing these subtypes, how the doctors were actually treating the patients is, once a patient comes to clinic, it just takes 3 to 6 months of time to try with different approaches, a different medicine, and see how he responds to the medication. So that itself adds a lot of economic burden on the patient. Although the economic background of most of the cities are not same in India. Some cities have a lower economic background, some cities have higher economic background. So this is where the disparity comes in. But with the invent of these kind of artificial intelligence based precision diagnosis, now the doctor has more leverage to identify which specific diabetic population they are into. And one of the important thing is, like, the dilating one is the novel subtypes which we identified is insulin resistance and obese diabetes, which is not at all existing in other population in the world. Although the first subtype and the last subtype is somewhat, there are other findings from Caucasian population. They identified these 2 subtypes, but in particular to India, the 2 subtypes are very novel, and the treatment of these subtypes are very different from the other subtypes. So I'm going to run a very quickly, a short video, so which will, take you through to entire journey of how the digital tool transform the healthcare in India. And then there are also a lot of the digital tools that we developed so far. Let me go here. So I will slowly, I'll go for passing, and then I'll try to speak as much as I could cover. So at our hospital, we created some of digital technologies, deliver the quality diabetes healthcare for patients. So eventually what we thought was, like, we have to create a diabetes healthcare in form of 3Ds. One of the 3Ds is it's Dia, Diala, and Diana. So these are the 3Ds that we actually formulated this apps which will helping the diabetes patients to use in day out. And what Dia is, we basically introduced that Dia is a kind of simply a chat bot it's an effective WhatsApp-based chatbot where the patients can quickly chat about what the disease they are, if they are falling diabetes, if they want to get educated more on diabetes. This chatbot gives very, clinically relevant information. It's not nowhere they can go and search in Google, but these chatbots give a very, scientific response to the patients to just to educate them about the disease and then their and it's been used by most of the users across the multiple states in India, where some metrics shows how the tool has been used. Um, so how this tool can also give you is like it can give you the a very relevant information about very relevant information about. They can also book an appointment just by chat, and also they can refer to the health records. They can also do prescriptions and know about more about diabetes. They also get track their HbA1c value, and they can also see their what the diets they need to follow, and what is which doctor they need to visit in the clinic, and then what are the different tracking of their blood sugar values in the app, just in like an app. And they can also see their previous lab records, previous history of their the medication, and so on and so forth. Also, it helps to periodically refer to the medicine that they want to follow. They can purchase it. So these are the kind of struggles generally in kind of India, which can eventually help them to get the treatment care better. And they can also book an appointment, and then they can also make the the consultation fees online. They can also get referred to some of the knowledge center that was built into the app. So because somewhere if they go and search in Google, they may not get a relevant, correct information. So this app provides them to know about much better about the health and diabetes. And we also cover some of the knowledge center here. And now I think this app was around 1 lakh downloads for now by most of the it's been 100,000 patients we've been using right now this app. And the third app is called Diana, which is very simple, a phenotyping tool or a subtyping tool that classifies the diabetes patients into multiple subtypes. So it's mostly covered by artificial intelligence. So simply, whenever a patient goes to a doctor, he go and refer with his diabetes problem, and doctor takes consultations, and then if we say about I have a type 2 diabetes, and most doctors, right, they may not treat all the diabetes patients same, because sometimes they may try to do with some trial and test on some of the drugs, medications, and then see. But the moment doctors see the patient now, with the use of AI, they can collect the information about the patient, and they can quickly go to the Diana. There's an app called Diana. So all the relevant medical records been securely passed to the AI tool, and then tool generates the model, and then it predicts which subtype the patient is. So whichever you see the highlighting subtype, the patient might belong to one of these subtypes, and then it just generates a report. Also, it predicts how much of risk the patient is, so the doctor can assess the patient in advance, rather to go and wait until the conflict is started progressing. So you can make a decision much in advance, rather to wait for 6 months or 1 year timeline. And then this Dyna tool generates a report back to doctor, And then with that report, now doctor has very good, clarity about what disease he fall into in type 2 diabetes, and then the doctor refers you are in subgroup 1, so you need so and so care and medication, so you can be much more effective than doctor also says you might be risk for certain kidney disease, eye disease. So you can doctor also recommend certain interventions to protect some of the complication, or even to prevent to getting into these complications in advance. So then based on the subtype assessed, the doctor recommends a very personalized treatment plan, which is nothing but a precision care. So this makes a job of the entire journey of patients walking into a healthcare system more robust, and then patients are frequently known about their health, and then so the Diana, what I explained, is mostly used by doctors. That whenever a patient walks into the clinic, a doctor uses Diana, but the first Dia and Diala are mostly used by the patients, where they can see their all the medical records. They've been notified with the alerts and everything. So he is our chairman, Dr. Morgan, who is very well-renowned diabetologist at the global level, and we've been collaborating with many of the institutions across the globe. Particularly, our collaboration with Germany is where we're working with some of the diabetes research group in Germany to make these kind of digital tools even to come into existing in Germany as well. So there are some collaborations ongoing, especially in the Dresden and Potsdam as well. So with this, like, what outcome that we achieve, right? And there are so many, the digital tools are already, that I've shown. But what is the health outcomes that comes out of this by using this tool? So you can refer to one of the graph that I'm showing here. Is one of the metric that measures the diabetes is HbA1c measurement. It just measures the average blood glucose level for 3 months, 3 months average blood glucose level. So by using the tool Diala by most of the patients, we did a comparison study. The patients who does not use Diala, patient who use Diala app, we compared and seeing the difference. Like there is a reduction of HbA1c value of 2%. Those who are using Diala, obviously those who not use Diala, they're reduced up to 1.4%. Although these two groups are already been treating with medicine and treatments, but more than medicine, it's more like education that they need to have more about themselves, know about themselves, and periodically, visiting doctor, knowing better their knowledge about diabetes and other surrounding information. So these by using of these apps, we found the reduction of HbA1c is phenomenal. And then this is an health outcome of Diana. The Diana tool is mostly used by doctors because this is not a patient-centric app. Diana is mostly a clinician doctor-centric app. So whenever the patient comes into doctor uses Diala app. Based on this, doctor advises a personalized treatment plan. So here we also compare the two groups. One is patient the patient who are not given treatment plan based on Diana, or patient who have given treatment plan based on Diana. So we compare two groups. There is a reduction of around 2.5% of HbA1c reduction. So they're mostly they're coming to a closer to normal level in diabetes, wherein the patient who does not using Diana, they have reduced about 1.9%. So there is a significant reduction in the controlling of blood sugar by using these digital tools. And we also done the outreach programs. It's not just we created tools and the digital platforms. We also need to go for outreaching. So I'm the one who presenting one of the outreach for Digital Diabetes Revolution program, where I'm trying to explain them what is the benefit of using this tool, what significant difference that they can see in the day-to-day health status and everything. And there are so many the public is walking into the booths knowing about these digital apps, and then slowly they can also make them aware about these digital tools, not just for the patients and also for the general public as well. So I feel this is very significant in terms of how we translating the digital tools to the real world people, because unless and until we do this outreach program, it all like sits in the only the app level, but it will not be used by the people. And the closing slide, I would like to give a key takeaways for this group who are today listening this topic. The AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning is revolutionizing diabetes care in India, not just in diabetes, also other disease treatment as well. Wherein Diana tool is very scalable tool and also a very impactful solution for bringing the precision medicine, and this brings a more opportunity to improve the global health equity, not just in India and also outside India as well. So I really thank this whole forum and also the organizer for giving this wonderful opportunity to at least express my experiences and showcase some of the work that has been done by my unit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Vaskar. This was very, very interesting. And I would like to use the next 15 minutes of the conference to open the Q&A. And we are also got like 3 questions in the chat. And I'm going to like read out the first one from Jane Duncan. She was writing, "Hello all, this is excellent. Can you advise within your sphere of operation, what are the major challenges? Distrust of the public or lack of city funding, for example, and how did you overcome these?" And I think this is more directed, for example, to Frank and Nadine, because like in Germany, there's more like the lack of city funding and distrust of the public. So if you could like answer this question, I would be very, very thankful. Who wants to start? Maybe Frank?
I feared it. Okay. Yeah, good point. Do it. Don't talk. Do it. So collect data, empower people. Don't try to follow the old lines of an administration, the old processes, and make new things. So that's what I've learned in the last 2 years in administration. That's the way. Often you look only for the money, but more important than the money are the people who have to do this. And that's why we don't just take money and give it to big companies. We want to make it nachhaltig,
Sustainable.
sustainable. And that's only if you don't have a focus on money of getting more money. You have to include all the people, the citizens, to make them the problem of a city to the problem of all, and all have to find the solution, and all are engaged to find the solution. That's what I've learned in the last 2 years.
Thank you so much. Would you like to add to that, Nadine, maybe?
Yes, sure. I also would first of all agree with Frank that money is, yeah, usually not the issue, but it's like also the question intends already. It's around trust, but I would also say it's about ownership. So citizen science projects at the moment are very much initiated by applied scientists or third-party funding, I would say. There's very little, I would say, very little funding around initiative startups who would like to drive this process and who would like to be, I would say, mediators and run platforms. And like there's the Freifunker, like a lot of I would say volunteers also in Potsdam, for instance, who try and set up things. But I guess if they don't have the time to build coalitions with powerful, impactful partners, all these little pilot projects, they kind of are alive as long as a project is alive, and then it usually goes away. So that's something that we realized, where also I would say some top-down infrastructure is actually, and some top-down initiatives, or at least umbrellas, I would call them umbrellas maybe, are needed in the future. It's something we're highly debating in the realm of the smart cities at the moment. What is it that they need as basis infrastructure that could be provided by federal governments rather than national governments? Because I think the problem sits with every city. And I would say we really need to also have more positive showcases. So I'm very much looking forward to Frank's and his team's result in 2 years' time, because all you need to prove is the added value of it, and to make it feel like it's something that impacts on your very personal life and your very everyday life, and it's not something abstract that is just done because the technology has to be tested. So I guess we have to show and talk about it and show the impact.
Thank you very, very much. I mean, also in the presentation of Dr. Bascar, it was very clear that there is like a positive impact that you can also see through the data. And also in your presentation, there's been 2 more questions, which I would like to follow up directly. There was one from Simone. I hope I'm gonna say your name right. She or he was saying, really interested in hearing how the data collected influences the aims of the smart cities you work within, especially on perceptual and qualitative data. Do you manage to shift priorities, especially around health priorities and inequalities? I think it happened during Dr. Bascar's, but maybe also it's like more directed to Frank. I'm not so sure, but like you can also read the question, and if you would like to answer that, I would be very pleased.
Yeah, I think it's more directed to Frank or Nadine, but I could also, add some point to it, like especially when I think this something even came to my mind while Nadine and Frank talk about it. There is also health priorities need to be considered while building these smart city infrastructures. Because I could also see the follow-up question on this. Maybe I can take it later, but there at least need to be health priorities whenever there is smart city infrastructure building. Frank, if you can add something, because that's what I could see from the question here.
I try. I search for amtlich erhobene Daten. The German administration has a strong focus on their own data, and only this data are high value. They are accurate. They are correct, and data from citizens are bad. We don't want to have them. But I've talked to scientists, and they said, no, they are very valuable, these data from citizens, because we get the data from places where we never have the money to send a student and collect them. And these argumentation that we will get access to data and to places we never had before has to be brought in the administration. And that's my part. I try the next years to say data from scientists are good, but data from citizens, maybe they are not exactly at the last point of a comma, but they are valuable. And that's a long process. And yeah, that's my job.
Would you like to add to it, Nadine? Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think also like it's very interesting, especially also in this, how like in India you can see you just like have to start, you have to be with the patients, you have to collect data, and then you can also have proof, and then through that the ball is rolling, how we say it in Germany. and then it can be like there's more improvement. But this is like a classic topic also in Germany, that first everything has to be perfect, and in the time of making it perfect, a lot of time where already impact can happen is maybe lost. So it's a very interesting topic. I would also like to continue with the last question from an anonymous guest that was writing, a lot of the solutions, and this was happening at your presentation, Dr. Baska, a lot of this solutions requires an app. What about digital inclusion? Everyone has access to it. Everyone has access to it. If not, what can we do in order that more remote locations or people that, for instance, don't have a smartphone are included in all those solutions?
Yes. Thank you for the anonymous person who asked this question. It seems very interesting question, perhaps not just in India and also the other countries, but particularly countries like India. I think for last over a few decades, I mean since last decade, there are a lot of improvements in adaptations of the digital apps in rural location as well. What I mean rural, even deep remote locations as well. So we have done the preliminary study of how the apps are adopted by different population across multiple geographies. We found although urban segment has more utilization, but even the remote location also now trying to adopt, because there are a lot of digital initiatives or digital inclusions are happening in Indian political systems, where even the student, even the students who are going to college or university, they still have, even in the school level, people are trying to adopt to the smartphones. But the percentage is a little low. I would definitely agree the percentage of adoption is a little low, but as we shifting gears to digital transformation in India, definitely there's a high chance of adaptations of using these digital solutions, and also the make themselves aware about how these digital apps going to help their health burden, or help them to reduce health burden in terms of economic health burden, or also health improvement as well. So that needs a lot of campaigning programs as well, to make sure that everyone are rightly using these digital tools and platforms, given the data security in place. As Nadine mentioned before, I think in India is the scenario of digital data, health data production is right now is taking a good peak. The Data Protection Act is coming up, and even we are not able to share any digital materials outside the country. Even that could be of any form of digital material, like pamphlet or something like that, contains information about the patient or the summaries of the patient. These improvements are coming up in India. So I feel in another few years down the line, the parallel effort between digital inclusion and also the data security in place, it together brings a lot of differences in adopting the health apps like these, and then that makes the patients also less worry about the data security and their personal data security as well. So I definitely believe there's a lot of potential to have it in the next few years.
Thank you very much. I think it's also very interesting that you're not only focusing on the patients, but also the doctors, to help them to analyze the patients. So I think also through that, obviously, the people that are going to the doctor will have like quicker treatment and have like also the impact from your apps and everything. That's very, very nice. So I think we reached the end of the conference now. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for every question in the Q&A that you were writing here. Thank you for Frank Hübner, Dr. Baska, and Nadine Kula von Bergmann for participating as panelists. Also, I'm very happy that I'm going to meet you soon in Potsdam, Dr. Baska, for our Twin City event, in which you, Frank Hübner, and Nadine, you're obviously also invited. And also thank you so much from Adele, to Adele from the EQN network for organizing this conference. I was very, very happy to participate in it. And over to you for the last words, Adele.
Thank you very much, Simon, and thank you for introducing everyone today and facilitating the Q&A and for all your work so far. And thank you from me for all the panelists as well, for your insightful presentations and sharing all of your different aspects and experiences on the topic. It's been really useful, and hopefully the participants have taken away some really useful tools that they can apply in their own projects and to their own work. Thank you also to the DivAirCity project and Horizon 2020, because their funding made today's event possible. Just a quick reminder that you can find this recording in the near future. It will be available on EQN's website along with all the previous ones. So if you want to revisit it or perhaps share it with colleagues or people in your network who weren't able to see it live today, then feel free to do that. The next event will be hosted by Bucharest in Romania, and that's going to be on Wednesday, the 30th of April. So look out for more information on that coming soon. I also want to mention that EQN have recently branched out and started international networks in Nigeria and in Serbia. And also we have one coming in Turkey as well. We're in talks with someone. So it's just to say that if anybody watching today has an interest to set up an EQN network in your country, then please feel free to get in touch with us, because we'd be interested to hear from you. So that just leaves me to say thank you to all the panelists and thank you to the audience for your participation and thoughtful questions. And we look forward to seeing you at the next event. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you from me.